Amen. We can still do it. It's borderline, but we could do it. Remember, didn't hear shofar yet? All right, today in Jewish history, today is the day that Noach, after dispatching the raven unsuccessfully, not finding dry land, he dispatches the dove, and the dove circles around, but again, unsuccessful in finding dry land. He comes back. Another week, he's going to send it out again. Stay tuned. He'll send another dove out. Another week. Today is also the wedding anniversary in 1743 of Alter Rebbe's parents. And what was Alter Rebbe's father's name? You remember? Baruch. Baruch Havish's name was. His father is Baruch. His mother is Rivka. That was Rivka. So their anniversary in 1743, night, the 17th of Elul, and 17th of Elul, 1939 is also the anniversary of the start of World War II. Okay, so now we mentioned last night that a person should not speak from the time we make the blessing. Sometimes we make the bracha on the shofar until after the shofar all sounds are heard. Similar to if you make a blessing on a cookie, on an apple, you don't speak between the blessing and when you bite in. So then the question is, what about the second cookie? You're not allowed to speak between the first cookie and the second cookie. One thing is sure, between the blessing and the first cookie, you're not allowed to speak. And so the blessing, between the blessing and the first set of the set of the shofar blowing that we do, for sure you're not allowed to speak there. And then after that, better try not to speak. We said, and that's why we said all the speeches are before or after, but not during. The max we'll do is when to stand and when to sit. That's it. But we try even there, we try to minimize it. We have the page numbers, try to minimize it. Now, how many sounds do we sound the shofar in the middle of the repetition of the midah? There's different customs. There are customs, and each community to their custom. Everybody's according to their custom. The way we do it is there's the main shofar blowing. There's 3 sets. Just like today we did. Every day during Montevallo we do what's called a Tashrat, Tashat, Tarat. If it's Kia, the long one, Shvarim Trua, which is the 3, the 9, and then a long one. So you have one set of that. You have one set of Tashat, which is a long Kia, then the 3, and then the 1. And then one set of Tarat, which is a long, broken up one, and then the long one again. Right after the sounding of the shofar, we do 3 of each set. Instead of 1 of each set, we do 3, 3, and 3. During the silent Shemoneh Esrei, during the silent Amidah of Musaf, we do one of each set, like we do now. But we do it spread out 3 times throughout the Amidah. One after Malchi Shofris, Shemoneh Malchi Shofris. We see each 3 parts, 3 sections of the Amidah. We do a full set like we do now, and then by the repetition we do the same thing. That's our custom. But different communities have different customs, and each one's good. 100, yeah. Then we do another 30 after, mix the satan up. Yeah. What does it mean to mix the satan up? He knows already our tricks from last year. What we're mixing the satan up. He knows already what we did. He read the same Shulchan Aruch as we did. He knows here all the tricks that we put in there. What does it mean to mix the satan up? The Rebbe explains it means that when the satan sees that we're doing everything, even a minhag, even a custom we're so strict about, he just gets so flustered, he gets mixed up, he gets frozen in the street. He thinks we're going to let it go. Who cares? It's only custom. But when he sees that even a small custom, every single thing that we're careful about, that mixes him up, and he gets so flustered. Now, whatever shofar we're supposed to do in Rosh Hashanah, that's what we do. The rest of the time, put the shofar away. It's considered almost like muktzah. On Shabbat, on Shabbos, we're not allowed to touch something which you don't need on Shabbos. If you don't need it, don't touch it. Same thing on Yom Tov. If you don't need something, don't touch it. So, when we're using the shofar, we're using it, perfect. We're not using it, we shouldn't be playing with it. Of course, if we're going on the street, we're going somewhere, and there's a chance that we might bump into someone in your shofar, then you got to carry, you got to go fully loaded. Holster, no holster, whatever you like, you got to carry. But otherwise, even there, you're just carrying, you're not blowing it. You shouldn't blow. Even to practice, we're not supposed to practice Rosh Hashanah. Practice all you want the whole month. On Rosh Hashanah, there's no practicing. Also, the day before Rosh Hashanah, we shouldn't blow the shofar. Okay. Also, the day before Rosh Hashanah. Yeah. Yeah. It says even if the person is blowing for the whole shul, everybody, you shouldn't do the practice. What happens if someone's making a brit milah on Rosh Hashanah? When's the proper time to do it? So normally, on a regular Shabbat, when will we do the brit? You're doing it in shul. When will you do it? Before Shachrit, before davening, after davening, in the middle of davening, on a regular Shabbos, on a regular Shabbat, after Shachrit, after Musaf, before Musaf. On Rosh Hashanah, it's special. We do it before Musaf. Usually, you do after davening, and right away you have the suda, you have the meal right away. You're doing it in shul. Rosh Hashanah is special, and we do it before Musaf, before the blowing of the shofar, right before the sounding of the shofar. That's when we do it. And he says there's a remes for this. We say it says in the Tzadichot, it says Zechar Brit Abraham Ba'akedat Yitzchak. It says so. Zechar Brit Abraham. What's Brit Abraham? called the Brit Milah, it's called Brit Abraham. Brit Abraham? Brit Abraham. So that's the Brit. V'akedat Yitzchak, the Akedah of Yitzchak, that's referring, so there it alludes to the Akedah Yitzchak, so there was a ram which was stuck by its horns, right? That's why some people we try to use a ram's shofar, even though you can have a shofar from many things. You can have a shofar made out of a kazoo. You can have it from all different types of animals. You have a shofar. We tried to do a ram's horn because the Akedah Yitzchak, by Yitzchak, says that there was a ram stuck by its horns over there waiting. So we want to remind Hashem about that story. In any case, because it says it was the Zechar Brit Abraham, Akedah Yitzchak, what comes first? Brit Abraham or Akedah Yitzchak? Akedah Yitzchak refers to the shofar. Brit Abraham refers to the Brit. Which comes first? Brit Abraham. Zechar Brit Abraham, Akedah Yitzchak. Brit Abraham comes first. And therefore, because it says it that way, therefore we do the Brit, we do first, and then we do the blowing of the shofar right after. When is that talking about? When the Brit is going to be taking place in Shul. However, if the Brit cannot take place in Shul, let's say the baby needs the mother, for whatever reason. It needs to be next to the mother, and the mother can't make it to Shul, for whatever reason. All right, she just had a baby, she's excused. I mean, there's a good reason. So in such a case, then right after davening, people should go, like always, like regular, at davening, you have the Brit. You should make the Brit. You do it then. If possible, do it. If you're doing it in Shul, the proper time to do it is before sounding of the shofar. On Shabbat, we do it after Ashrei. In other words, even though we're not blowing the shofar, what? No, it's before Musaf. By Musaf. In other words, in the place where we usually blow shofar, we would do it over there. Right after that, we would do it. Because I guess you're doing it in the place of, that's where you usually blow shofar. You're remembering the shofar at that time. So, I guess, how we do it. But again, if you can't, for whatever reason, the baby can't be in shul, or the mother can't be in shul, then we do it. Then we do it after davening. It's no big deal. It's not awkward. It doesn't make a difference. Here's a practical halacha. They're all practical. Here's another practical. You already fulfilled your obligation of hearing shofar in shul. You heard shofar. Now you walked outside and you did what you're supposed to do. You're carrying, and all of a sudden you bump into someone, your neighbor. You come home, your neighbor says, or you came on your family says, you didn't hear shofar yet. So now they don't know how to blow shofar. They're asking you to blow shofar. You already either blew already, or you fulfilled your obligation by listening to someone else blowing shofar. Could you now blow for them? No, of course you could. The question is, what happens by the bracha? So, what's the bracha we normally make? What's the bracha we make? Nishma kol shofar, to hear the sound of the shofar. So, since the blessing is to hear the sound, you can make the bracha also. You can make it 10 times that day. But it's better that the person who didn't hear, better that they make the bracha. Therefore, if the person knows how to read, whether they know how to read Hebrew or they can read transliteration, even they can read translation. If they can read it, it's better that they read it. The bracha. So now, if a woman if you're doing it for a woman, they absolutely could make the bracha for themselves. If they're doing it for themselves. Absolutely. The question is that they're being yaitze someone else with the bracha. That's the question. So if they're being yaitze another man with the bracha, so then they shouldn't do that. The question is if they're being yaitze of a woman, and that's where it's already a debate. But Uh, Here, the Shulchan Aruch says like this. Again, B'shvil Nashim, someone who blows for women. Imu Kvar Yatsa, if you raise the obligation, Lo Yivarach Tzarachos, and Isha Tavarach, the woman should make the bracha. However, since it's a mitzvah, it's not Shizman Garama, some people now, now question is, woman fulfilling the obligation for another mitzvah, for another woman. And there it's a machlokes. It says here. Some people say you shouldn't even blow for women because they might not even have the full mitzvah. So if you want to blow for them, you have to do it before you fulfill the mitzvah in the morning. Um, um, Now, he says at the end of the day, we were discussing before, if a person spoke, let's say, in between the first set of sounds and the second, does it make another bracha? Doesn't make another bracha. Consider one thing, even if there was a half second, you don't have to make a bracha. I think it's similar to a cookie. Yeah, you ate one cookie. Once you ate one cookie, you're allowed to talk and eat more cookies afterwards. Someone's feeling weak, so they can eat before sounding of the shofar, which I guess means that if a person is not weak, then it's better not to eat before. Last year was a whole debate over here. Could you eat before? Someone argued that you absolutely could eat anyway before. He said always the custom was not to. And someone was here. They wrote a whole book on why you could eat before shofar. They sent me a whole book, huh? Yeah, why you eat before shofar. Yisrael, you remember Yisrael? No, it was here last year. Anyway, Yisrael wrote a book on why you eat before shofar. Anyway, based on this Shulchan Aruch, it seems that it's not the end of the world if someone does. It says if someone is not feeling good, then they could, no problem. But it seems then that if you are feeling good, you shouldn't. But he has a whole proof why it's not the case. I didn't read the whole book. I didn't read the book. I read the whole book. I didn't read any of the book. I don't know. I didn't read this book.
Everybody's doing otherwise.
I'm throwing it. I'm putting it out there. He obviously had some kind of. I didn't read his book. He obviously had some kind of proof. But I'm just giving the other side of it. I'm giving both sides. All right, time for my page 118. 36. 736. We're doing it says 35, and then we say 36 is a better number. Who wants to be Chazan Maariv? Anybody? Pulling once? Anybody? Pulling twice? Anybody? Well, you did a good. Oh wow! Double header. Wow. Page 118. We're out there. Huh? Hello.
الناشئ من الخيرين يوم كريم بالسلام كداش من أبا يا بدر من المقتل ما أخذوا بيتهم في دولة مسلم ليس ما أخذوا Amen.
Tomorrow morning, 8:40. Today we have to wait a few minutes for a tent, so whoever could help with the menu, Yashikaya.
I have to be here with the fish guy. I took a pizza and I don't know what happened to the fish guy. You can give me fish guy again.
Food? There's produce outside. If anybody wants to take, there's a lot of produce over there. If anybody wants to take produce, take as much as you want. Right outside the door, or under the tree.
Okra also?
Huh?
The okra also?
Okra also.
Wow.
Whatever's there. There's also lemon.